Good evening, everyone. Thank you very much for coming here. We have some folks from Vista, some from outside, so thank you very much for coming here and encouraging us. We have a bunch of people on the YouTube link as well. We're doing a live streaming, so welcome and thank you to them as well. Just a quick word about my team. Our team here, we'll have Achintya who will come up and give his own masala and gyan about the songs. I think we all know he's great at that. And Vipul is going to be manning the mixer and tuning me out when I don't sing well and back on. Quick thing about where this started. Achintya has been running this music show called Ye Wohi Geet Hai, where he plays 10 songs. And I don't know if Nupur is here yet or not, but she had suggested sometime that, Sumit, why don't you sing 10 songs and we'd love to hear you. So that's where the idea came, and we started with that. So thanks to Nupur and Achintya for that. I wanted to thank the MC and the maintenance staff. Firstly, as you can see, they put up a pretty good lighting system and the chairs and everything. So thank you very much to them. Thank you to my partners. Achintya changed his plans and flew in from Guwahati just to be able to do this. And Vipul has been helping me with the music system for a long time. So thank you very much, Achintya and Vipul. There is a surprise also in store for a couple of songs. You'll see that later. So thank you to them. And one thing I definitely want to say, for the last year I've been learning some Hindustani classical music from my Guruji, Pandit Iman Das. So, my warm regards to him. And this has helped me to both, get some rigor into my singing, as well as to kind of get the discipline and all that. So big thank you humbly to him. So with that, we are going to start off, and I'll invite Achintya to come and talk about our first song here. Thank you again. Thank you.
Thank you, Sumit. Thanks to everyone who have, made this opportunity, into a grand opportunity, because for the last 2 years we have been all holed in our, own houses. Balcony has been the farthest that we have gone. And now coming together like this is wonderful. And I was just wondering that, people have got used to vote of thanks normally at the end. So in case people who have just come in, just that you have heard the vote of thanks, that doesn't mean the program is over. Okay, so we've just not even started. And I think I really endorse all the, thanks that he has expressed. It's actually the bigger thanks is to all of you, because without listeners, there's no point us holding the mic, right? So I think Webster had said that all that a reader needs, all that a writer needs is a reader. So for us, all that we need is a listener, right? So when we do this Yehi Wahi Geet Hai, many times we wonder, how many people will come. So I always say, if one person comes, that's good enough. And it's so nice, it's almost full, house full. And I also understand that we have a lot of people on YouTube. Where are you? So let's start. The format is very simple. As he said, Sumit will sing 9 songs today. And before that, we'll give you a little introduction. That's how it goes. And as he said, that there are nice things to bite on. You can go and pick those things up anytime you feel like. It's a very compact program, so it'll go on very quickly. And as we always announce that, please switch off your mobile or put it in silent mode, because it's a big distraction, especially singing live. Suddenly the same song comes as a caller tune. It almost sounds like a duet, right? So you have to be a little careful. Right. So, the first song, nothing much to introduce other than tell a set of stories. All of us know about the Mahabharata and the stories inside the Mahabharata. And how the Mahabharata was written itself is an interesting story, right? Ved Vyas wrote the Mahabharata. In fact, he was a part of Mahabharata. The first time Mahabharata was actually expressed was to Janmanjay, the son of Parikshit, and it was by Ved Vyas's disciples, right? And Vaishampayan. Then, but the way it was finally written down was when Ved Vyas spoke it out to Ganesh, because he wanted a person with that kind of ability to write down the Mahabharata. And so the condition, Ganesh said, initially it seems he said, I'll come back tomorrow, that's another story. But then when he finally got down to write down, he said one rule or one condition is that you have to tell the entire story without any hesitation, without any interruption. And so Sage Vyas makes things a little complicated, by which things slow down. And then as Ganesh starts writing with his pen, the feather pen, he realizes the things are too complex. So he needs something much more important. So he breaks his tusk, and with the tusk, he writes the Mahabharata. So this is one story about how there's only one tusk of Ganesha. The other more famous story is about the clash that he has with Parshuram. And so when Parshuram comes to visit Shiva, Ganesh stops him, and then he throws the axe, and it breaks the tooth, right? But I heard another third story, which was even more interesting, which is about, it seems Ravan and Ganesha had a fight, and Ravan broke Ganesha's tusk, and that tusk was taken to Lanka, and with those the ivory ornaments of the ladies of Lanka were made. Now, we do not know mythology such that it could be a very a story to do with religion, to do with romanticism, to do with spirituality. So you can take any of those things. But with that, Ganesha is called Ekadanta, that is with one tooth. And so we start our program with the invocation to that Ekadanta. And regardless of whichever story you go with, the story of Ekadanta remains, and that is what Sumit will render right now. Over to you, Sumit.
Thank you, Achintya. So as he said, we're starting with the invocation to Lord Ganesha. This song is also for our children, Vishakha and Sahil, specifically because Vishakha used to sing this song when she was little. And so when I was looking at this, I said, why don't I start with this? So, thank you. गणनायकाय गणदेवताय गणाध्यक्षाय धीमहि गुणशरीराय गुणमण्डिताय गुणेशानाय धीमहि गुणातीताय गुणाधीशाय गुणप्रविष्टाय धीमहि एकदन्ताय एकदन्ताय वक्रतुण्डाय गौरी तनयाय धीमहि गजेशानाय भालचन्द्राय श्रीगणेशाय धीमहि चतुराय गान प्राणाय गानान्तरात्मने गानोत्सुकाय गानमत्ताय गानोत्सुक मनसे गुरुपूजिताय गुरुदैवताय गुरुकुलस्थायिने गुरुविक्रमाय गुह्यः प्रवराय गुरुवे गुणगुरुवे गुरुदैत्यगलक्षेत्रे गुरुधर्म सदाराध्याय गुरुपुत्र परित्रात्रे गुरुपाखण्ड खण्डकाय गीत साराय गीत तत्वाय गीत गोत्राय धीमहि गोसहस्राय गोवर्धनाय गोप गोपाय धीमहि गुणातीताय गुणाधीशाय गुणप्रविष्टाय धीमहि एकदन्ताय वक्रतुण्डाय गौरी तनयाय धीमहि गजेशानाय भालचन्द्राय श्रीगणेशाय धीमहि गीताय ग्रन्थगेयाय ग्रन्थान्तरात्मने गीतलीनाय गीताश्रयाय गीतवाद्यपटवे गेयचरिताय गायकवराय गन्धर्वप्रियकृते गायकादीन विग्रहाय गङ्गाजल प्रणयवते गौरी सनन्धयाय गौरी हृदयनन्दनाय गौरभानुसुताय गौरी गणेश्वराय गौरी प्रणयाय गौरी प्रवणाय गौरभावाय धीमहि गोसहस्राय गोवर्धनाय गोप गोपाय धीमहि गुणातीताय गुणाधीशाय गुणप्रविष्टाय धीमहि एकदन्ताय वक्रतुण्डाय गौरी तनयाय धीमहि गजेशानाय भालचन्द्राय श्रीगणेशाय धीमहि Thank you. Thank you very much.
So that was our first item. So before we go to the second song, let me just discuss a few things about how Hindustani classical music and Western classical music fuse in many different ways. And so Western music, especially classical music, is quite structured. All of us know, you exactly play to the author's view of life. Everything is recorded in certain notation. And Hindustani music is supposed to be much more improvised. And so there's a lot of freedom given to the singer or the instrumentalist or even all the accompaniments as well. Now, yet, there is a certain structure to Hindustani music as well as Carnatic music, Indian classical music. So in the Hindustani version, the structure of that composition is called a bandish. And the bandish comes from the Hindustani word bandhna, binding together. So all of these things are bound together. So the start, what we in the songs it's called mukra, but it's called sthai. Then you have different antaras. So there's a certain structure in which a bandish is rendered. And what I find interesting in the choice that Sumeet made for the second song is where he has chosen this song from this web series called Bandish Bandits. And it's a very different kind of a song in the sense that in setting you have a counterposition between somebody who is singing modern rock roll pop music and then the classical counterpart, right? And the choice of music director for this was also equally interesting. It's Shankar Ehsaan Loy, and Shankar, who brings in the classical aspect of it. Ehsaan Nurani and Loy Mendonça are from the Western side, and so these two people come together, and the fusion of music is amazing. Of course, he has chosen the Indian classical version of that. Of the entire milieu of songs available in that series. And it's rendered by Shankar Mahadevan. So let's listen to Sumeet's version of that.
Oh my. Yeah, my version is whatever comes out, I guess. So this song is for my mother. I think she really loves this, and I know Shanti as well. And as I was preparing the list, I was wondering whether I should keep it or not. This and the next song you'll see are a couple quite slow and more classical based. So I was wondering whether it's suitable for a music evening. But she really likes it, and I of course like it very much. So I thought I'll keep it and sing. So for this one, I'm just going to use a tanpura. It's a bandish. In the original, there is a little music and some tabla as well, but I couldn't find a karaoke track that I liked, so I'm just going to sing with a tanpura. विपुल थोड़ा सा वॉल्यूम बढ़ाना म्यूजिक का. सखी मैं अंग अंग आज रंग डार दूं, तेरी सखी मैं अंग अंग आज रंग डार दूं, अपने जी से प्रेम रंग कैसे मैं उतार दूं, मेरी सखी तेरे बिना कहीं भी ना व्याकुल मन लागे, बिरहन सुर ताल साज आज तेरे आगे, नैनन को चैन नहीं रैन रैन जागे, एक पल में टूट जाए सांस के ये धागे, तू जो मुँह फेगे, तू जो मुँह फेर सखी देह प्राण त्यागे, पल भर तू देख मुझे जिंदगी गुजार दूं, मेरी सखी मैं अंग अंग आज रंग डार दूं, अपने जी से प्रेम रंग कैसे मैं उतार दूं, तेरी सखी, तेरी सखी, तेरी सखी, तेरी सखी, ओ तेरी सखी। Thank you. Thanks.
Yeah, the next song actually will give you the feel of Once More. So when Hindi movies started, the origin of Hindi movies is from musicals, Nautanki and Punjabi drama, and the whole concept of Indian movies itself comes from that, from drama, right? And so music was a very integral part of our movie industry. Yet people were still scared of bringing classical music to Hindi films. And to make a movie completely based on classical songs was quite risky. But Vijay Bhatt in 1952 took that risk and made Baiju Bawra. Before that, even earlier movies had a lot of classical stuff, but this was completely classical. And Naushad took this challenge. Initially people said it was a very risky venture. Yet both Naushad and Vijay Bhatt believed in this project. It was a movie of singers, so obviously songs had to be part of it, and really, really rich songs, because this was about Baiju Bawra and Tansen and at that quality. So the songs also had to be of that quality. They got Ustad Amir Khan as the consultant for this soundtrack, and Naushad, took each song, based it on different ragas. Shakil Badani changed his style of writing. Shakil Badani and Naushad worked together for the entire career almost. And Shakil Badani was one of those high Urdu poet. And for him to come down to this earthy language was quite a challenge. And yet, as you can listen to this song that's coming up, it's so brilliant. Where is Shakil Badani of Urdu, and where is this song, which is so much more earthy. And even this changed, as much as Naushad's career, this changed Mohammad Rafi's career. And although he was established, but to become that Mohammad Rafi, the great Mohammad Rafi, that came out of Baiju Bawra. And so this is one of those forever great songs. And here we listen to Sumeet.
Okay, so this song was quite tough for me. It's based on teen tal 16 beats, but it catches the tal at different beat numbers, and to try to keep track of that and be able to kind of do that took me close to a month of trying before I thought I got it right. So, but we'll see, and there are some beat changes, so I'll be doing that as I talk again, as I sing, sorry. Again, I'm using an app to play Tanpura and Tabla. I'm not using a karaoke track. I couldn't find a good one, but we'll see. Now I need my glasses to look at this.
मुरली मनोहर आसन तोड़ो हो दुख भंजन मोर साथ न छोड़ो मोहे दर्शन भिक्षा दे दो मोहे दर्शन भिक्षा दे दो आज दे दो आज मुरली मनोहर मोहन गिरधर हरिओम 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 हरिओम. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you for this lovely song. So as we go to the next song, sometimes we discuss about the dominance of certain individuals or certain I would say groups in Hindi film songs. You have people like Shankar Jaikishan who dominated, Lakshmikant Pyarelal dominated, R.D. Burman, S.D. Burman. So there are these big players, right? And they work with their allied partners, their allied studios. Navketan, S.D. Burman, you'll find, there's one big set of, a big body of work. But through this, almost big names, there are some people who just come out of nowhere. And so that requires a tremendous amount of talent. And one of these names is Ravindra Jain. Now, Ravindra Jain, of course, he had a disability in his ability to see. And I think that disability, in many cases, we know, is compensated by some other enhancement of faculty. And so he had this immense appreciation of music. He could point out tones and flaws completely, almost out of instinct. And he could even write lyrics. Most of his movies, he wrote the lyrics and composed the music together. And he worked with the Barjatias, the Rajashri Productions, closely. And so Rajashri again had, because they were not dependent on the traditional distributor, they were distributors themselves. So they could choose a lot of different kind of forms. They used to make movies which are very offbeat, with actors and actresses. They are not too big names, because they had that kind of clout in the industry. And so they could try out different things. So you'll find that a lot of Rajashri movies where a lot of new people are introduced. In this case, this is a Bashi Chatterjee movie, Chichor, which introduced Amol Palekar. Actually, Amol Palekar was an established actor, theatre actor. And Amol Palekar, and then you have Zarina Wahab in this movie. And even the singers are different. Yasudas and Hemlata. These are the days of Kishore Kumar and Muhammad Rafi and Lata Mangeshkar, of course. Suddenly these names that come in, and you find it very refreshing. When we used to listen to Vivid Bharati, oh, this is somebody else. It used to catch our attention, and they sound nice. So Chichor is this movie, and so to get Hemlata's part of the song, let's welcome Deepa. Deepa, where are you? So this is a duet. There you are.
Hi Deepa, welcome.
You have to remove your mask.
Used to it.
So used to masks. Yeah, you'll hold it in the hand, or?
I think hold it.
That's better, I think, yeah. So Sumit and Deepa from Chichor.
Do you want the lyrics? This one, I think.
Hello.
Want to just check once?
जब दीप जले आना, जब शाम ढले आना, जब दीप जले आना, जब शाम ढले आना, संकेत मिलन का भूल न जाना, मेरा प्यार न बिसराना, जब दीप जले आना, जब शाम ढले आना। पलकन डगर बुहारूंगा, तेरी राह निहारूंगा, मैं पलकन डगर बुहारूंगा, तेरी राह निहारूंगा, मेरी प्रीत का काजल तुम अपने नैनों में मले आना, जब दीप जले आना, जब शाम ढले आना। पहली बार मिले थे हम, जिस जगह से संग चले थे हम, जहाँ पहली बार मिले थे हम, जिस जगह से संग चले थे हम, नदिया के किनारे आज उसी अमवा के तले आना, जब दीप जले आना, जब शाम ढले आना। रेगा रेगा मा गा रे सा सा नी पा पा मा रेगा सा नी सा गा पा मा पा, नित सांझ सवेरे मिलते हैं,
नित उन्हें देख के तारे खिलते हैं, नित सांझ सवेरे मिलते हैं, उन्हें देख के तारे खिलते हैं, लेते हैं विदा एक दूजे से कहना,
जब दीप जले आना, जब शाम ढले आना, संकेत मिलन का भूल न जाना, मेरा प्यार न बिसराना, जब दीप जले आना, जब शाम ढले आना। Thank you. Thanks.
Thank
Deepa.
you.
Deepa, many of you may not be aware that she's also a very accomplished dancer, Bharatanatyam dancer and instructor. And she has performed in many of our shows here. And I remember the first time, I think we had this 50th edition of Ye Wahi Geet Hai, so everybody performed live. So people were practicing for many days, and I had given her a little tough song. And I remember students, good students in college, right? When they walk to the exam hall, right? No tension, nothing, right? Others are struggling, last-minute revision and all that. And she will just come in. She just came. Okay, where's the mic? And she performed, right? And and did it in real style. So she's of that quality. So thank you, Deepa. We were talking about classical music, and you have been hearing a lot of those different styles. So just as I was talking about the structure, Hindustani classical music earlier, it used to be like the male raga and the female and the putras. They were classified as very simply into these three kind of classes. But much later, people realized that it's much more evolved than that. And by the time the Carnatic rags were already classified, the Melakarta system. So that was in the 16th century. So the early 20th century, Vishnu Narayan Bhatkande took upon to himself and classified the Hindustani ragas. And so it's now almost called the Bhatkande system. And I was, found it very interesting that when Bhatkande came up with his first classification, he did it in Sanskrit. And I don't know why he chose that, maybe because the original documents that he went and referred maybe from Sanskrit. And then he realized that to make it more popular, it had to be done differently. And he himself translated his own Sanskrit work into Hindi. And that became today's what we understand as the classification of Indian ragas. And the key system that he used was what's called the That, the Carnatic equivalent in Melakarta. The That, or the parent rag, right? That becomes the structure, and from there you have all the derivatives. So the next rag that you will hear is Tilak Khamod, and that is based on the Khamaj That, right? And so that is how you have the parent rag and different kind of derivatives. Although we listen to these songs through popular renditions, but deep inside that the classical flavor remains. And this song definitely, the song that Sumeet is going to perform next, definitely accentuates the raga system so well.
Thanks. So this one is for my lovely wife Bindu. So anyone got it yet? It'll 2-3 line mein it'll come for sure. आओगे जब तुम साजना, आओगे जब तुम साजना, अंगना फूल खिलेंगे, बरसेगा सावन, बरसेगा सावन, झूम झूम के
दो दिल ऐसे मिलेंगे, आओगे जब तुम हो साजना, अंगना फूल खिलेंगे। नैना तेरे कजरारे हैं, नैनों पे हम दिल हारे हैं, अनजाने ही तेरे नैनों ने वादे किए कई सारे हैं। सांसों की लय मध्यम चले तो से कहे बरसेगा सावन, बरसेगा सावन झूम झूम के, दो दिल ऐसे मिलेंगे, आओगे जब तुम हो साजना, अंगना फूल खिलेंगे। चंदा को ताकूं तातों में, है जिंदगी तेरे हाथों में, पलकों पे झिलमिल तारे हैं, आना भरी बरसातों में, सपनों का जहां होगा खिला खिला, बरसेगा सावन, बरसेगा सावन झूम झूम के, दो दिल ऐसे मिलेंगे, आओगे जब तुम हो साजना, अंगना फूल खिलेंगे, बरसेगा सावन, बरसेगा सावन झूम झूम के, दो दिल ऐसे मिलेंगे, आओगे जब तुम हो साजना, अंगना फूल खिलेंगे। थैंक यू, थैंक यू।
So as you have noticed through the evening, there are so many such songs from movies which are, middle of the road, songs which are not really the big blockbusters. Of course, Jab Bhi Met was a big hit, but the ones before that, right? And that is how it has been happening in the history of Hindi film songs, that the middle road movies have always produced wonderful songs, and that's how we remember those movies. Like the movie from which the next song is, okay, Dam Laga Ke Harsh. I don't know how many of you have seen this movie, okay? But it's not a blockbuster movie, but the songs have been brilliant. So to introduce the song, actually, a couple of weeks back, I was in Guwahati, and there was a function organized by a friend of mine, and it was to honor this Gyanpith winner Nilumani Fukan and his poems. So people came and sang or recited his poetry. Some sang his songs. And amidst all of this, of course, most of the people were from Guwahati. There was Papon. And so I know Papon like when he was this small. His father and my father were colleagues in All India Radio. He's much younger. And so we were all telling Papon, sing this song, sing that song. After the main event was over, he took his guitar and dang, dang, dang. And really the entire thing was transformed because he could sing all kinds of songs. And in his mood and his elements, he can really transform the audience. And he was doing that. So this song is a Papon song. And that day we requested him to sing the song, but then he said, no, let me sing other songs. So he sang Farida Khanun, he sang Jagjit Singh, all kinds of things, but left out his own song, which is the song that I didn't mind because I knew Sumeet will sing this song today, so I'll get an opportunity to listen to it today. This song has two versions. There is the Papon version and there is the Monali Thakur version. Now, it's always a toss-up between people, which song is better, so you can choose. And today we'll hear the third version, Sumeet's version.
Thanks, Sachin. So this song is for our close friends who moved in recently, Satya and Madhurima. I know Madhurima really likes this song, so this is for them.
मोह मोह के धागे मोह मोह के धागे जरा पागल तूने मुझको है चुना तू होगा जरा पागल तूने मुझको है चुना कैसे तूने अन कहा सब सुना तू होगा जरा पागल तूने मुझको है चुना दिन सा है मैं रात आना दोनों मिल जाए शामों की तरह ये मोह मोह के धागे तेरी उंगलियों से जा उलझे कोई टोह टोह ना लागे किस तरह कि तेरी झूठी बातें मैं सारी मान लूं, कि तेरी झूठी बातें मैं सारी मान लूं, आँखों से तेरे सच सभी सब कुछ अभी जान लूं, कि तेरी झूठी बातें मैं सारी मान लूं। तेज है धारा बहते से हम आवारा, आ थम के सांसें ले यहाँ, ये मोह मोह के धागे तेरी उंगलियों से जा उलझे, कोई टोह टोह ना लागे, किस तरह गिरह ये सुलझे।
Thank you. Thank you.
Is this better? Yeah. So last night I dreamt I went to Mandalay again. I think this lines many of you may be knowing. This is from the book by Daphne du Maurier, Rebecca, right? And so those kind of books, or of not just books, movies, they were called Gothic fiction. And there's a reason for that, because they were all based out of these kind of houses. Okay, the architecture of the house was very important. Somewhere in the moors, somewhere in the jungle, somewhere in the Gunj, it'll be one big house, and that is how many such movies, especially the black and white 50s, 60s period, and it matched the black and white setting, because everything would be dark. It was a different kind of noir, but they were called Gothic movies, Gothic fiction. And there are a lot of movies inspired, Hindi movies inspired by that genre. The movie Kohra, which was Hemant Kumar's production, Gitanjali Films. Hemant Kumar was also a film producer, and he, after 20 Saal Baad, he did Kohra, which was based on the same Daphne du Maurier's Rebecca. Rebecca was, of course, famously directed by Alfred Hitchcock, and before that, but this Biren Nag, who was a director, he took a little different twist towards the end, but the setting and everything is essentially Rebecca. Now, one thing about these kind of movies, for audience to understand that this is something is happening, music was very essential, and it was a part of the entire story. You'll find this, what is called haunting music, right? There will be especially the background score used to be very loud. The curtains would swing, in a major way along with the violins. There will be lace work. There'll be a large clock which will tick, 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 and there'll be music to that. So there was this typical setting that was created for Gothic fiction. And interestingly, these movies, although the background music was loud and almost melodramatic, the songs used to be very soft, and it was a counterpoint, maybe the black and white of the way you look at it, the black and white. Similarly, there's a counterpoint between the music and the songs. And this song that you will hear next from Sumeet exactly establishes that, right? It's a haunting song featuring Vishwajit and Wahida Rahman. Wahida Rahman looks ravishing, and that the looks of the character in the movie, and only I think Wahida Rahman had that kind of personality to bring out that kind of character. And I don't know if you've seen Rebecca. I think I would say Wahida Rahman played a better role in Kohra. Maybe because I'm quite a fan of Wahida, but doesn't matter. But I'm also a fan of Hemant Kumar, and now let's listen to this wonderful Hemant Kumar classic.
Thanks, Ochintya. So this song actually was originally in Bengali, and then later it came in Hindi. So I've inserted a couple of lines in Bengali in the middle. And you know, Achintya, as you can see, right, he almost brings it to life, right? You can see the curtains waving, the clock ticking and all that. So he's amazing at this. So thanks a lot, Achintya. And so we used to have for a while music potluck group in Bangalore. Some of my friends and colleagues from Intel and otherwise with families. So this song is for them. I had sung this in one of those events. Some of those folks have now moved to the US, but this is for them.
नयन डरे डरे ये जाम भरे भरे जरा पीने दो कल की किस को खबर एक रात हो के निडर मुझे ये चांद हंसी तू सबसे हंसी मेरे दिलबर रात हंसी ये चांद हंसी तू सबसे हंसी मेरे दिलबर और तुझसे हंसी और तुझसे हंसी तेरा प्यार तू जाने ना तेरी रात तुम्हारा माँ कोई चांद तुम्हारा माँ शुधु दुजने डरे डरे प्यार में है जीवन की खुशी देती है खुशी कई गम भी में है जीवन की खुशी देती है खुशी कई गम भी मैं मान भी लूं मैं मान भी लूं कभी हार तू माने ना तेरी रात तुम्हारा माँ कोई चांद तुम्हारा माँ शुधु दुजने ये नयन डरे डरे
Thank you. Thank you.
The song that we're going to listen to next is a combination of some of the greatest talents that the Hindi film world has ever seen. The first is Sahir Ludhianvi. Now, Sahir Ludhianvi is, people, there's always a debate at who has been the, the most accomplished of all lyricists. So the world is normally divided between, or among Shailendra, Sahir, and Majrooh. And depending on which song you're listening that day morning, you will vote for one of them. And Sahir, one thing he never did was compromise his poetry. So regardless of, whatever the context the song was, Sahir would, be very, very clear that his poetry stands true. And it seems, his quality control was his mother. And throughout his life, Sahir would always go to his mother and show his work, and it is his mother who used to say, yeah, it's okay, bad. And he used to be scared of his mother's critique, which is quite strange for a person who is, quite an iconoclast like Sahir Ludhianvi. And yet his reverence for his mother stayed well into his later part of his life. The other person who's involved in this song is Roshan. And just like Sahir never compromised on his poetry, Roshan never compromised on his melody. And regardless of whatever the song would be, be it a romantic song or a qawwali, of which Roshan was a master, or a ghazal, it had to have melody. And the third, important element in this song is Manna Dey. So this is a, Manna Dey, of course, all of us know that, it was the, the ultimate genius in Hindi film songs. He had the mastery of classical singing and his ability to understand a situation to sing a song. And he was the specialist, right? Like whenever somebody needed one song which nobody else could sing, they would draft in Manna Dey. So this is a combination of Manna Dey, Roshan and Sahir from Dil Hi To Hai. So let's enjoy this lovely, lovely, all-time favorite song.
So this is my toughest song, and first this is for all my college batchmates. We have a music group, and they've been asking me to sing this song. I think I may go horribly wrong on this one. If I do, please forgive me, but I'll give it my best shot. And for this one, I'm just going to use kind of a monitor kind of a thing, because it's quite fast-paced, and I'm afraid I won't be able to listen to the speakers for the beats. So I'm going to use a monitor to kind of feed me the beats here and then sing to it. All right. So just keep this little high only, Vipul, and then if I need something, I'll tell you.
लागा चुनरी में दाग छुपाऊं, कैसे लागा चुनरी में दाग, चुनरी में दाग छुपाऊं कैसे, भर जाऊं कैसे, लागा चुनरी में दाग छुपाऊं कैसे, लागा चुनरी में दाग। हो गई मैली मोरी चुनरिया, कोरे बदन सी कोरी चुनरिया। हो गई मैली मोरी चुनरिया, कोरे बदन सी कोरी चुनरिया। हाँ, जाके बाबुल से नजरें मिलाऊं कैसे, घर जाऊं कैसे, लागा चुनरी में दाग छुपाऊं कैसे, लागा चुनरी में दाग छुपाऊं कैसे, लागा चुनरी में दाग। भूल गई सब वचन बिदा के, खो गई मैं ससुराल में आके। भूल गई सब वचन बिदा के, खो गई मैं ससुराल में आके। हाँ, जाके बाबुल से नजरें मिलाऊं कैसे, घर जाऊं कैसे, लागा चुनरी में दाग छुपाऊं कैसे, लागा चुनरी में दाग छुपाऊं कैसे, लागा चुनरी में दाग। कोरी चुनरिया आत्मा मोरी, मैल है माया जाल। कोरी चुनरिया आत्मा मोरी, मैल है माया जाल। ये दुनिया मरे बाबुल का घर, ये दुनिया ससुराल। हाँ, जाके बाबुल से नजरें मिलाऊं कैसे, घर जाऊं कैसे, लागा चुनरी में दाग छुपाऊं कैसे, लागा चुनरी में दाग छुपाऊं कैसे, लागा चुनरी में दाग। हाँ, दिन तनन दिड़तानु तान देर ना दिन तनन दिड़ता, धूम तदेर ना दिन तनन दिड़ता, धूम तदेर ना न देर देर ताना धूम ता तारे तारे तानी, दिन तनन नन दिड़ 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 तानी 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 तानी, दिन तनन दिड़तानु तान देर ना दिन तनन दिड़ता, धूम तदेर ना। सप्न सुर्ण 3 ग्राम बंसी बाजे, रे सा नि सा नि दा नि दा प प म गा, म दा ग म म ग रे सा। धाधा किट्टा चरण धरन धरत, पग परत नहीं परन। झांझर झन के छन नन नन नन, नादिर धीतनु नन नन तन नन, नादिम तनन दिड़तानु तान देर नादिम तनन दिड़ता, धूम तदेर नादिम तनन दिड़ता। Dim tanum dim tanana dim tanana dim tanana de dum tanana de dum tanana de dum tanana nade de dum de nade de dum 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 takir dum karandha takir dum karandha dim tanana de tanum tanana de nadim tanana de tanum dum tadere nadim tanana de ta dum tadere nadim tanana de ta dum tadere nadim tanana de ta dir dir ta
So as we come to the final song, let's also bring Vipul up here. Vipul. So let's give him a round of applause. So, after a certain, stage in life, all of us want to do different things. Vipul decided that he wanted to become a DJ. So, and he's earnestly at it. The only thing we have to give him a baseball cap, which he has to put in the right direction. And rest is all set. So coming to the last song, this movie is inspired by a very interesting concept. You must have all heard of sportsmanship. We all know what is sportsmanship, to be fair and all that. There's also something called gamesmanship, okay, or lifemanship, which is a term coined by a person called Stephen Potter. He wrote a book on this, on how to win games without actually cheating. And this has led to a lot of stories. The most famous one of them is a book also made into a movie called School for Scoundrels. And in our context, it was made into a movie called Choti Si Baat. And if you have seen that movie, you know what gamesmanship is all about, right? Where you try different dubious things, not really illegal or not really, off the ball, but you win over your opponent through all these kind of small tricks. And we heard this song from Chichor earlier, and I find it's quite an interesting contrast between Chichor and Choti Si Baat, both Bachu Chatterjee movie, both Amol Palekar, one Zarina Wahab, one Vidya Sinha. And one, the hero has to defend whom he has somehow fallen in love with, and the other one he has to, almost get into conquest with this character like Asrani. And so there is this nice contrast between these two movies of Chichor and Choti Si Baat. The same director and two different heroines though. And the music in that movie, Chichor, was Ravindra Jain. And here it is Salil Chaudhary. And very, very different music. It's very, Western, very orchestrated. All the songs of Choti Si Baat are like that. And again, a new set of singers. Actually, Yasudas and Asha Bhosle in this combination. And, this also brings in this memory of, a concept that we used to have in Hindi movies called guest appearance. And these days you never find any guest appearance. Everybody's a guest or they don't appear. And but once upon a time, I think in our prime of our youth, guest appearances was something very we used to look forward. In this movie, who will make a guest appearance? Sometimes the people like Amitabh Bachchan and all that, we used to look forward. Oh, this movie he is there as a guest appearance. In fact, this song, the song from Choti Si Baat, you will find a guest appearance by Amitabh and Hema Malini. Dharmendra, this is not Amitabh, right? Dharmendra, correct. And so these guys, Dharmendra, Hema Malini, Amitabh, Vinod Khanna, Rajesh Khanna, and they used to appear, and it used to come at the very end of the credits. Finally, it will say, and so, bracket, one guest appearance will be there. So today we have another guest appearance. Deepa, you have to come back. So I thought it's quite fitting that Deepa makes a guest appearance for this song. And over to the two of you. You can use this mic, and she's come prepared with some fluid, water. So this is the last song. Thank you, everyone. It was fun seeing a huge crowd. We can't see the very end. And thank you, Sumit. Thank you, Deepa. Thank everybody for organizing this.
No. Thanks, Ochindya, I think, for coming back soon and doing this. And you have a very special talent.
Now that we have thanked each other so many times, we can go ahead with the song.
ठीक है हाँ कर दिया हो जाने मन तेरे दो नयन चोरी चोरी लेके गए देखो मेरा मन जाने मन जाने मन जाने मन।
मेरे दो नयन चोर नहीं सजन तुमसे ही खोया होगा कहीं तुम्हारा मन जाने मन जाने मन जाने मन।
जाने मन तेरे दो नयन चोरी चोरी लेके गए देखो मेरा मन जाने मन जाने मन जाने मन।
मेरे दो नयन चोर नहीं सजन तुमसे ही खोया होगा कहीं तुम्हारा मन जाने मन जाने मन जाने मन।
तोड़ दे दिलों की दूरी ऐसी क्या है मजबूरी दिल दिल से मिलने दे।
हाँ अभी तो हुई है यारी अभी से ये बेकरारी दिन तो जरा ढलने दे।
तोड़ दे दिलों की दूरी ऐसी क्या है मजबूरी दिल दिल से मिलने दे।
हाँ अभी तो हुई है यारी अभी से ये बेकरारी दिन तो जरा ढलने दे।
यही सुनते समझते गुजर गए जाने कितने ही सावन हो जाने मन तेरे दो नयन चोरी चोरी लेके गए देखो मेरा मन जाने मन जाने मन जाने मन।
मेरे दो नयन चोर नहीं सजन तुमसे ही खोया होगा कहीं तुम्हारा मन जाने मन जाने मन हाँ जाने मन। संग संग चले मेरे मारे आगे पीछे फिर समझो मैं तेरे इरादे। हाँ
दोष तेरा है ये तो हर दिन जब देखो करती हो झूठे वादे।
संग संग चले मेरे मारे आगे पीछे फिर समझो मैं तेरे इरादे। हाँ
दोष तेरा है ये तो हर दिन जब देखो करती हो झूठे वादे।
तू न जाने दीवाने दिखाऊं कैसे तुझे मैं ये दिल की लगन।
जाने मन तेरे दो नयन चोरी चोरी लेके गए देखो मेरा मन जाने मन जाने मन जाने मन।
मेरे दो नयन चोर नहीं सजन तुमसे ही खोया होगा कहीं तुम्हारा मन जाने मन जाने मन जाने मन।
छेड़ेंगे कभी ना तुम्हें जरा बतलाओ हमें कब तक हम तरसेंगे।
ऐसे घबराओ नहीं कभी तो कहीं न कहीं बादल ये बरसेंगे।
छेड़ेंगे कभी ना तुम्हें जरा बतलाओ हमें कब तक हम तरसेंगे।
हाँ, ऐसे घबराओ नहीं कभी तो कहीं न कहीं बादल ये बरसेंगे।
क्या करेंगे बरस के जब मुरझाएगा ये सारा चमन हो जाने मन तेरे दो नयन चोरी चोरी लेके गए देखो मेरा मन जाने मन जाने मन जाने
मेरे दो नयन चोर नहीं सजन तुमसे ही खोया होगा कहीं तुम्हारा मन जाने मन।
Thank you, and thank you so much, Deepa,
Thank you.
for coming and sharing this stage. Well, so that is the program, and thank you very much again for coming and all your enthusiastic, support for us. Thank you very much. Good night. Huh?
अच्छा अच्छा हाँ 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 oh sorry I come bring no हाँ so just a small token for all the folks who've been helping here so Achintya एक बार और last time Vipul thank you so much Deepa कहाँ गई thank you so much group photo अच्छा हाँ मैं भी इधर इस तरफ आ जाऊँ हाँ हाँ श्योर अभी ओपन हाँ 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 Okay, thanks. So, you know, we've got the music system और क्या बोलते हैं क्या दस्तूर है और क्या क्या है पता नहीं. So, मौका भी है दस्तूर भी है. So, if anyone wants to come and you know sing something, you are most welcome. I think Sana wants to sing. And Lina, please. Yeah, no, absolutely. I'm glad you brought this up. Do you want to play a karaoke track or do you want to sing just like this?
Okay. I'm not very well prepared, but because the evening is like all musical, I wanted to sing too. So I'm gonna sing Pehla Nasha. Okay. चाहे तुम कुछ ना कहो मैंने सुन लिया कि साथी प्यार का मुझे चुन लिया मैंने सुन लिया पहला नशा पहला घुमा नया प्यार है नया इंतजार कर लूं मैं क्या अपना हाल है दिले बेकरार मेरे दिले बेकरार तू ही बता पहला नशा पहला घुमा उसने बात की कुछ ऐसे ढंग से सपने दे गया वो हजारों रंग के रह जाऊं जैसे मैं हार के और चूमे वो मुझे प्यार से पहला नशा पहला घुमा नया प्यार है नया इंतजार कर लूं मैं क्या अपना हाल ऐ दिले बेकरार मेरे दिले बेकरार तू ही बता थैंक यू